Hi, it's me. Yeah, I saw Breaking Dawn. I'm gonna complain about it, and I feel like I can complain about it because I've read all the books. The books were horrible, there was no plot, and if there was kind of a plot, there were holes in that plot. The only reason why I read them is because the story is like crack, and I kept reading the books even though I knew they were horrible. Which I guess is like what crack is like. I don't know, I've never done it. This is gonna be full of spoilers, so if you're one of those people that think that this movie, this whole story is like Academy Award winning, like Citizen Kane Best Picture, and you're gonna be offended by me giving you spoilers, then don't do me a favor and go piss off, go away. Because trust me, I don't care, so your stupid you spoiled it comments are meaningless and useless to me. So the movie starts off with magically everybody gets an invitation to the Cullen and Bella wedding. I forget what Bella's last name is. And I'm sorry, but those are some cheap friggin' invitations. Aren't the Cullens like hundreds of years old and they have millions? Like they couldn't put out enough money for an engraved cotton card. The motif on top looked chewy and sparkly and stupid. The motif was definitely thermography printed, which is the least expensive printing method available besides flat printing. And I'm sorry, but it was just dumb. You know, maybe it's just my invitation knowledge talking here, but whoever bought those invitations really cheaped out. I would not be impressed if I got that in the mail. And then was the boring wedding in somebody's backyard. Camera spins around Bella and Edward like, look at this magic. When in the middle of that romantic, stupid friggin' moment, 18-year-olds, one of them's a vampire getting married. Priest just ups and disappears out of thin air. Like where is he? And did anybody else find it odd that Bella's family, all of her guests, were blissfully unaware that half the other guests were vampires? Nobody noticed their red eyes. Are you kidding me? And everybody's just smiley and cool with the fact that Bella just decided to get married, knocked up, to a vampire nonetheless. I think my dad wouldn't smiley walk me down the aisle. He'd be pissed. Then comes the weird honeymoon, which is like a month long because, you know, none of them have jobs. It was boring. All they do is play chess and have sex. And the whole honeymoon, Edward is like literally standing and staring at Bella multiple times while she's sleeping, and that is creepy. I'm sorry, that's The Shining. I would be disturbed if my significant other stood there and stared at me for no matter what I'm doing. I don't care. I'd be like, hey, do you want to take a picture? Some may say, well, Edward doesn't sleep, Justine, and I say, well, if I was dating a guy who never slept because he's a vampire, I would consider that a red flag. And then Bella gets pregnant with Edward's baby, which everybody's so surprised with this. Like, I mean, she's of childbearing age, and he's like shooting her. I don't know what vampires have inside. But they're having sex constantly, and then it's like, you're pregnant? That's what happens. Use a condom, kids. So the baby is half vampire and it's like killing her from the inside. And then there's like a whole hour where everybody's just sitting around and waiting for Bella to give birth finally because everybody's sick of her just sitting around complaining and drinking blood. And then Jacob, who's also in love with Bella, and a werewolf for that matter. God, I would wonder why all these weird creatures are falling in love with me if I was Bella. Seriously, I'd go on Dr. Phil. Anyway, again, so both Jacob and Edward are in love with Bella, yet they're just hanging out in the same room, cool as a cucumber. I just don't think that would happen. Like, why? Like, whatever happened to bros before hoes? So Bella gives birth to an infant who looks like, I mean, the baby looks like it's at least a year old. It's like a baby with an adult face and with weird colored eyes, like the 1-year-old is wearing like fresh look color blends. And then you might be wondering, well, what happens to Jacob? I mean, he's in love with Bella. Don't worry, because Stephanie Meyer, who authored these books, wants to make sure everything's tied up in a nice little ribbon and has Jacob imprint or fall in love with this baby. That's a pedophile. If my friend was in love with my baby I just gave birth to, I'd be like, you gotta go find a hobby. Join the hockey team. I don't know, just go away. So that's Breaking Dawn in a nutshell. It was a crappy movie. I mean, it was okay. Now, I'm gonna forcefully remind you guys to please download my newest podcast, okay? I have all the links in the underbar. Alright, I'm gonna go edit this now, I guess. Bye.